very broken, dead walk the earth, and what's the danger of civilization is nothing but my ass cheeks on a platter. I'm Rustman and I like to dance naked in your blood. Oh, yeah.
So hello Play the Gamers, PTG here, welcome back to PLAYtheGAMEcentral, and I'm continuing on the series of Magic and Wonder and Happiness and the Hades shotgun, which will not feature the Hades shotgun at all, because it smells of poop. Unless you upgrade it and you're in Black Ops 1, then it's very nice. But, back with the series, where I was going and playing every single Black Ops 2 map, talking about all the good things, the bad things, and just everything the map did for Black Ops 2 and whatever in general, and zombies and stuff. So, first off, the intro cinematic is definitely has more time put into it than the Die Rise one, and you know, it's very cool and very nice. It enhanced some story. However, it was kind of a bit too late to introduce Rustman as like a mainstream kind of character, because up until Buried's point, Rustman was pretty much considered to be like Nikolai, where he was just there for just stupidity, comic relief, and I've been disconnected from the Black Ops 2 servers. Lovely. Isn't that great? Be right back. And with Max's voiceover over, and round one over, we're back in. Don't know what happened there, that was really weird. But anyway, what I was talking about was Rustman is a more prolific character than we gave him credit for, and that was kind of just bad timing. I mean, I feel like the characters which we had just didn't have enough attachment put onto them, whereas through Shinonuma and Darius we had our basic old four, and then we went all the way through them with Black Ops 1, and that was a long time for them to develop as characters, whereas these guys had 3 maps and they weren't received very well at the beginning at all, so you know, they weren't very prolific characters. But in terms of the character development and stuff, it wasn't that great, and they definitely made the right move in killing them off at the end of Buried, which will happen, and I'll talk about that and the Easter egg in general in a minute. But the characters and stuff, they definitely did get the, I don't know how you would call it, they just got the portrayal which they needed and they should have in Buried. This is where we know them best, and this is the best place that their attitudes are shown, even though, you know, in Transit, really, that should have been the thing which made you know, attach to the characters in the first place, but no one really had that. But everything's gone to hell, and there's the big old rift. It's massive, that is. It's fantastic and brilliant. And, here I'm gonna go down. But in terms of, I mean, this is the last map in terms of main story. I mean, Origins is different, but this is basically the last map, and it wasn't that good. I mean, in terms of its location, it's just kind of like, what the fuck, what, you just had 2 conflicting ideas and didn't know what to do with them, really. And they just kind of did anything, really. I don't think they really thought this through all that much. It just seems like a clusterfuck of everything. And, you know, with Darius and with Moon, those were the last maps of World at War and Black Ops 1, and those are extremely prolific places. I mean, Darius is the heart of all the Nazi experimentation and weird shit going on, and we ended there, and that was great. And with Moon, it's the frickin' moon, and with Buried, it's just a hole in the ground in Africa, which makes no sense. So it doesn't really end all that well. In terms of the story-based maps. In terms of Origins, the actual ending of Origins isn't anything. It doesn't actually happen, I believe. I mean, I'm not sure what they're going to do in the future, but pretty sure that Samantha's bedroom scene, that whole ending cutscene, you should just ignore that. So, you got that. But in terms of its reception, Buried is... it was received actually quite badly, I guess, just because of the openness of the map, and that it was just so boring, and it is quite boring, because the question marks on the wall and this guy, basically all you need to do was get a lot of points in the bank, then withdraw a bunch of money, and then you have to pretty much do everything. You don't have to, but it's a wise idea and the best course of action to do everything, and you can do that on round 1, which just isn't a good way of, you know, having a good progression on the map and getting people to familiarise themselves with the map in a good way. I mean, it's just a chore, basically. To get all the chalk put out all on the wall, get all the things broken open, get as many of the perks as possible, pack-a-punch and everything. And you can do all of that on round 1, which is just ridiculous. I mean, in Dire Rise and Transit you could do it with the help of the bank, but it was a lot harder to get to the bank in Transit, and Dire Rise didn't get its bank until quite later on. So, you know, it's just... I mean, with Dire Rise at least, there wasn't all that much running, because it's a fairly small map, if you think about it, but Buried is quite different, because it's pretty big. You have to go back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and forth, and back and forth, and all over the shop, really, so... In terms of map design, it's pretty poor, and they could have done a lot better with it. But they didn't, so what are you going to do about that? And this guy, fucking hell, this guy, big old Simple Jack. He's not Rick Toffen. Clearly he's not fucking Rick Toffen. Someone started that rumour. What else was there? People calling him Sloth, which is just shit. To be honest, he really should be called... I'm pretty sure we had a name for him, but I can't remember what it was. But Simple Jack is close enough. He looks kind of like him with the hairdo and everything from Tropic Thunder, and so that was... Legitimately, I was the first one to say that when we did the breakdown video when we first saw him. We called him Simple Jack, and a lot of people call him the very large zombie. And I'm just like, what the shit are you talking about? He's not a zombie, for Christ's sake. He might show up as a zombie thing in the replays and in theatre mode and stuff, but that's just because he's an AI and he's got a surrounding thing on him. That's it. It's not because he's a zombie, because the zombies already have it as well. Which is just very bad. But I believe that he was originally formed from David Vonderhaar, which is different because Vonderhaar's mainly been just the multiplayer director, and that was one of his ideas, and it's a fairly cool idea. I mean, the whole thing of him holding a crawler indefinitely is incredible. It really is, because, you know, you're doing the Easter egg, or someone needs to go somewhere, you can get them to hold a zombie, then basically have a pause in the entire gameplay, which is something which they need to implement. They kind of had it in Transit if you glitched out the teleporters in some way. I'm pretty sure I made a video about that somehow. Somewhere, obviously it's on fucking Central. And, you know, it would be good if you could just have, like, a vote kind of system for everyone to just... If everyone in the game pauses the game all at once, and is on the pause, like, screen, then the entire game should just stop. And then it starts up again when everyone's, brought it down again. And, you know, that'd be really nice. But obviously that's not really implementable in public games, because it just doesn't work like that. Public games should just be stopped. They have pretty much stopped being considered, and they definitely should be stopped being considered, and it is holding it back, because anyone that plays zombies in public matches, you are just going to have such a shit time of playing zombies. Because it's a co-op game, even though you don't need cooperation particularly, although it does help with... Obviously the Easter egg is helpful. But the Easter egg is basically impossible on solo. Not solo, in public matches. And it is also impossible on solo, which they should also, you know, have an option to do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the Black Ops 1 maps had that. So I don't know why they shied away from it in Black Ops 2, but... you know, I just feel like... they are trying to appeal to the wrong people in terms of, you know, cooperation and stuff. Like, they try to do some public game people, but then you can't do that, so they don't, but then they need to do it more. Like with Shangri-La, if you're in a public game, you're not going to get the pack-a-punch. If you're on, you can do an Easter egg, I guess, with public matches. You can do the pack-a-punch if you have proper communication, but it just doesn't work, and they should just stop considering public matches as viable. But they also need to make it also balanced so that you can do things in public matches, because otherwise it doesn't work and I'm dead. So I'm not really paying attention. And I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something. I'm pretty sure you're listening. And if you're not listening, then why are you watching? But you should be watching. And you are watching. So keep watching. Gonna go back and get the power on, which I should have done a long time ago.
I'm gonna do something I should have done a long time ago. Turn on the power source. Turn on the power source, 'cause your ass is grass.
That's as close to Randy Savage as I can get.